Yeah. Chillin' with my kids, count cake. We done made it from the apartments to the house to the lake. God is all of my plans, that's the walk through. God is all of my Chillin' with my kids, count cake. We done made it from the apartments to the house to the lake. God is all of my plans, that's the walk through. God is all of my plans.
Well, welcome back to Talk That Talk. I'm your host, Tor'i, Bionic. We cover a wide range of topics from sports, lifestyle, entertainment, and culture. I'm here with the wonderful, the great, the illustrious, that fly guy Ty, or Coach Ty McKinney, whatever you prefer. This guy does it all. If you didn't know that already, that means you're not subscribed or you're not following the pod. So I'm going to ask you to stop what you're doing right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, download the podcast. We're featured on all platforms, from Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, anything, you name it, we're there talking that talk. Man, today we got a very free-flowing episode. We definitely covering a wide range of topics. A lot of things have been happening recently in the headlines, tabloids, in the entertainment space, in the sports space as well. So I thought that it'd be a great thing to give y'all all those topics today in one. We're going to talk about everything. I feel like they're all intertwined in a sense. Oh, yeah. Ty, man, you've been up to date on what's been going on, what's been happening recently, man. What's up with you?
Man, not too much, man. I've been doing a lot lately, man. I've been trying to create some things and get some things uprooted from the ground. So I've been busy at work doing that. But when I'm not doing that, trying to check the headlines and see what's going on, trying to stay current and not get left too far behind. You know, these kids be up to date on everything, ticky-tocking and everything. So, but I think Diddy is headlining everything right now. Pretty much all I'm seeing, you know what I mean, scrolling on my feeds and CNN and everything else. That is a very, very crazy situation. I think that it is absolutely just mind-boggling, kind of what's been going on and kind of what I've been hearing about, what he's done and the whispers and things like that. I mean, some of the things are coming out that there's evidence, there's truth behind it, and obviously, we can see it, but it's just a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot happening right now. Like Diddy's at the headlines of, a lot of what's going on right now. There's so much happening in the world, and that's probably one of the biggest stories that's kind of been out in the tabloids. But, another thing that's been going on right now, the WNBA playoffs have just started. We're underway. And we have some great news. A'ja Wilson won MVP. Which
yes, she did.
Was well-deserved. There were a ton of people that were in the running for that. But I think A'ja Wilson was kind of like the standout, the front runner all season long. Yeah. Having a 1,000-point season, doing her thing with the Aces. Recently I just watched the Aces game 2, their first game in the playoffs, and they came back. They were down double digits in the fourth quarter, and the Storm only scored 2 points to allow the Aces to come back and win game 1 of the playoffs. And I was watching that game a little bit, and A'ja Wilson was performing. She was hitting 3-pointers, she was posting up, hitting mid-range. She's a
bucket, bro.
She really is. And so she's definitely going out to show like she's the best player in the world right now. Becky Hammond, said it, stamped it, everything. What do you think about the Aces and A'ja Wilson's performance this year?
I think it's well deserved from her, man. She's been all over the place, stat sheet stuffing, doing it all, making it happen for her team, making it happen for the league. So I think that's well deserved from her. She's been a force to be reckoned with. I mean, scoring, defensively, taking the load on and everything else, kind of all season. So she's just continuing her postseason run, doing what she's been doing all season long. So it's definitely exciting to see, and it's well deserved that she won that MVP for sure.
Yeah, she's one of those players that's like a lifelong talent, and one of those talents that you don't find every decade or every year. Franchise is very lucky to get somebody like that. And let's also talk about another franchise-changing player in Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark won Rookie of the Year, and I feel like it's no surprise to none of us. We talked about it on the podcast a lot. her impact on the game, the way she plays, and the fact that she was able to lead the Fever into the playoffs has been a huge thing for her career to get started on the right foot. She did a lot of things that were the first, the first ever triple-double, and she had 2 this season, she's also, when it comes to her stats, I think she's one of a few WNBA players to, what did she average this season?
She led in assists.
She led the league in assists. She did a lot.
She was 4th in rebounds. Led rookies in points.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark is.
She's been doing it. She's been doing it. And I think about where they started. You know what I mean? We think about when Caitlin came into the league, and she's going to Indiana, and everybody's just like, yeah, okay, but they're not all that great, and Aaliyah Boston's over there and trying to make something happen, and slowly but surely, after a rough start to their season, has proven that she can, she's got grit, and she can kind of overcome any adversity and all that other stuff, because they were not that great. They were not that great to start the season, and for them to wind up in the playoffs and then kind of, make themselves known while they're in the playoffs, it speaks volumes to her and her resilience.
Yeah, she's, as I'm looking over to the side a little bit, man, I'm just seeing so many headlines with Caitlin Clark's name all over it, and leading to, how much success she's had this season in the W, and then going into the playoffs, and what the Sun was able to do to her in the first round of the playoffs. They roughed her up a little bit. She ended the game with a black eye. She played a hard-fought game, ended the game with, I think it was like 11 points, I think, and I think it was like almost like 8 assists and something like that. She played a really decent game, but the Sun had a game plan, get physical with her, throw her off a little bit. But I think, after she had a taste of that in the playoffs, she'll be ready to respond next game and be able to lead the Fever past the first round. That's my estimation to it. That's my prediction. I think she is going to be able to do some great things in the playoffs. So she's going to be able to turn it on. She has that kind of like that Steph Curry effect.
I hear that. No, I feel that. I think I seen the first 2 games. It was the Sun and the who did they play? The first 2 games in the playoffs. The Lynx played.
It was the Sun versus
the Dream.
Indiana, and the Lynx versus Dream.
Sun versus Indiana, and then Lynx versus Dream, and then there was one more.
The Aces.
Aces versus Seattle.
You talk about New York Liberty?
It was Vegas, right?
Yeah, that's Aces.
Aces. And then, I seen the 2 games weren't very close, and then one game went down to the wire. That's kind of just the summary of games that I had seen. So excited to see what the next round of playoffs hold.
You think Phoenix gonna make it past the Lynx?
Tough to say. I definitely will be tapped in to watch, though. I'll tell you that much.
I think the Lynx are a really tough team. Like they're really good this season. I don't think that Phoenix is going to be able to pull it off. Unfortunately, I don't think they have the firepower to be able to do it. And with that being said, that's going to be Diana Taurasi's last game, last playoff series. So unless she can pull out some amazing fireworks and pull out some stops in her career, it looks like the end of the line for the Phoenix players is going to come against the Lynx in my opinion.
They're tough.
You think Diana will actually retire?
I think it's around that time.
You think her win or lose dictates whether she retires?
I feel like her win or lose could dictate that just a bit, but I feel like she's at the point in her career where she's accepting it, and we saw that at her last home game. The Mercury, like the fans, the stand, everybody just kind of like gave her that ovation at the end of the game because it wasn't a game. They legit brought Diana Taurasi back into the game to give her that standing ovation and that fanfare as if it was her last game.
Right. Yeah. Writing on the walls.
Well, it's been very exciting in sports recently. We've been seeing so many different things happen from the W playoffs. Can't wait for NBA season. NFL season has been very exciting to watch. There's no clear front runner in the NFL right now. Man. A lot of teams are kind of in the mix. I look at, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and what they've been able to do these last few weeks, turn it around. Even though their offense isn't firing at all cylinders, they've been able to, squeak out a couple of W's, and now I think they're sitting at 2-1. Okay. The Saints as well they surprised a few people.
My boy won't stop talking about them Saints.
Yeah, they're really doing their thing. I also been watching the Ravens. The Ravens have been turning it around a little bit with Lamar Jackson. Powerhouse. Mm-hmm. Been able to do with him and Derrick Henry finally being able to be on the same page, and I'm really excited to see those guys and their synergy late in the season. We can talk about the Bears. The Bears, I feel like I've been having, a decent.
I was gonna say they gotten better.
I just think they're having a decent season. It's not anything to get too excited about right now. It's still early in the season for a lot of teams. Well.
They're playing good football.
Yeah, I just think that they were surprised. I didn't think that they were going to be, even decent. What about those Texans, Caven? How y'all feel about them? Them Houston Texans right now. You know what I mean?
Ooh, by Minnesota?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We gonna come back.
What happened?
Man.
Minnesota smacked us.
Yeah, that
and
defense
smacked the Niners.
Yeah, that defense is nice.
Minnesota is.
Man, let me tell you, that defense
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for Minnesota.
Invested in that defense.
They're doing that with Sam Darnold too.
Yeah. Another surprise in the NFL season right now, the Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They've been playing
about
pretty,
them too,
yeah, pretty solid. Baker Mayfield. I'm not sure how they performed this past week, but they've been a surprise, team this season.
How do you feel about them benching Bryce Young and bringing Andy Dalton?
Yeah, Andy Dalton is proven. Andy Dalton is a guy that has definitely played and won games in the NFL. And then you look at Bryce Young, his inability to be able to get it done, regardless of who's around him right now. I feel like his talent level is a little bit higher. He has a higher ceiling, but his ability or inability to win games at the pro level is what, a lot of people are looking at. And, at the end of the day, your job as a quarterback is to win games. And the same thing for Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Regardless of what you're dealing with the offensive line, regardless of what you're dealing with, you got a new running back, and now you guys have to be able to read schemes a little bit better. If you're noticing that, there's 5 on the front line when Derrick Henry is in a game, and then, you take Derrick Henry out the game, it's only people on the front 4, it's only a front 4 lining up against you. Like, you have to understand that the defense knows what you're doing, and you gotta switch up your tendencies.
Make your adjustments.
You gotta make your adjustments. So there's a lot of things like that where teams are being exposed as far as how they're playing or how they're accustomed to play. Even Patrick Mahomes right now, it's like he's struggling. Yeah. There's a guy on the Atlanta Falcons defense who's picked him off like 7 times in the last. You know what I mean? Like, and he definitely got another pick this last game. Justin Simmons, he had him downloaded. He got him downloaded, bro. And so it's like it's been very fun to watch the NFL season because there's no clear-cut front runner or nobody's performing above the bunch. Even if you had high expectations, shout out to Aaron Rodgers, got a dub with the Jets. You know what I mean? It wasn't one of those Aaron Rodgers games, so we're still waiting for him to, is he going to throw for 390, 400 yards? You know what I mean? But shout out to Aaron Rodgers for being able to get back on that saddle and being able to win as an NFL QB. But that's why the Bryce Young thing and Andy Dalton thing is very important, because guys, no matter how old they are in the league, if they can win it, if they know how to win in the league, they're going to win in the league.
Yeah, this is true.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're young and inexperienced and you need to learn how to win, you need a quarterback that. And a lot of quarterbacks are coming into the NFL playing right away. They're not sitting behind quarterbacks anymore. What used to happen, you used to have a great quarterback sitting in front of you, and that quarterback would take his licks on his way out of the league before a young quarterback will come in and just get demoralized and not be able to win games. Right.
This is true.
Hey, shout out to Bionic for his football knowledge.
I will applaud that man. He knows some things. Y'all was sleeping on him like he ain't know nothing about no football. He was like, hey, hold up.
I really, we watching football. I be tapped in. I like football. I know I don't throw a lot of football stuff out there, but hey, shout out to those guys on that field, man, because they really be going hard on the gridiron.
How do you feel about the new kickoff
Oh, let's talk about it. The new kickoff rule
yeah.
is not exciting to watch at all.
It's not.
It's
And people
not.
are still taking touchbacks.
It's very boring because the touchbacks. But if you move the kicker back and give it more room to where the kicker has to reach, the end zone, not necessarily, automatically he's gonna kick it out of the end zone or something like that. That's where I feel like you'll start to see things like that happening, and then you'll start to see teams have schemes. And run like certain plays to clear out the middle because the middle be wide open, but you got to get a good kick and you got to set it up that way.
It's more strategic. It does bring a different element into play.
But this season is taken away from the game because you've taken away the guys like the Devin Hesters. Like I feel like Kansas City Chiefs that I forget his name, Xavier Worthy will be a phenomenal return man if he had the opportunity to actually return something. You know what I mean? He's not given that opportunity. That's why a guy like Devin Hester was good in the league. Everybody knew Devin Hester because of the kick return. They ain't know him because he was a receiver. They like, bro, gonna show out. You don't kick it to bro.
You give him a good kick.
Know what I mean? And so that was a really exciting part of the game, and that's one thing with the NFL you look forward to. You look forward to the NFL kickoff, right? NFL kickoff is when the game is about to start. Everybody is really hyped. You know what I mean? And, guys is really getting hit. You know what I'm saying? Getting smacked, all that.
Some of the biggest hits happen in the
kickoff. Like, you're not getting that anymore. That's not happening. So they're taking a little bit of the excitement out of the game, which, if y'all watch the Jeopardy episode, y'all know that American football is one of the most watched games and sports in America and all over the world. But at the end of the day, if you're taking the most exciting parts out of the game, if you got two safeties over top, now the guy's not able to air the ball out. Now you're not seeing as many, QBs that are dropping numbers. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that are happening in the NFL that are changing the way that we view the NFL and the excitement behind it. Defensive players aren't able to play football anymore. They're not able to hit. It's rules against it. Defense, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the defenders out there because I think y'all job in the NFL is to get cooked, bro, because they don't want y'all to be successful, bro. They just want to make the rules against y'all, and that's crazy. Stop taking away from the defenders and let them play football. Them boys, they really be working hard all year long, all in the off season. Let them boys play.
Oh yeah, like you said, they're leaning into that entertainment for sure because they're like, hey man, when he comes, stand there.
How you gonna take out the kickoff though? That's crazy. You leaning into entertainment, but you taking out entertainment things.
I think.
My fault, y'all. I got a little passionate. I feel like
I think eventually, when folks get used to how to, fully do the kickoff, I think it'll get more exciting because it truly did introduce a situational thing. It's like, you can kick it.
Kickoff is actually a whole situation.
It's a whole situation.
Unless before it was just onside kick was a situation. Now every kickoff a situation. It's a possession. It's a possession.
It's like, you put it in the end zone, but we're gonna start at 30. So now it's 2 minutes, and you just scored. Are you gonna put it in the end zone and let me go 70 yards, or are you gonna put it in play and see if your boys can get me on 10, get me on 20?
I just think, I like the situational aspect of it. I just think that they need to bring the kicker back. Like that's
100%,
so 100%. Get more.
They be moving that
We've been knew they needed to back the kicker up.
Come on, they really got
give
legs.
them something to kick. Put them in the end zone and tell them, all right, well, kick it from this end zone all the way out there. And if you're doing that, then you know what. But if you're doing that, then okay, cool, great.
I've seen some kickers who kick pretty far.
But make them kick it that far.
But
They don't, exactly. I'm sure they would like it too. I'm sure kickers would love that. Like, shoot, give me a little bit of a challenge. Let me kick this mug on the whole field.
Yeah.
They're sitting there kicking the kicks they really need to kick.
But do y'all see how certain stats now have never be touched, like the receiving yards record, with Devin Hester, or the kickoff return yards with Devin Hester.
Will never
all that
be
stuff
met.
is going to be touched. Like, we're not going to ever be able to see a return man that's just degraded.
True that.
They're minimizing the opportunities. They're taking away, an aspect of the game in my eyes. That's why, even if it is situational, they need to move these kickers back.
Yeah.
But in other football news, we've been watching college football. football lately? I have.
That was
College football has been going nuts at the beginning of this season, and we just watched a crazy game with the Colorado, you know what I'm saying, them buffs, bro. Hey, them boys were wearing them buffs, and they was going crazy, bro.
They
all
showed
the way
up
down.
like that.
Bro, they showed up like that, bro. Shador really showed up when the time was right and delivered it downfield, bro. He said he gave it to God. and, you know, they had a play, though. You know, he walked us through the play. You know, how, you know, he went to the outside. He looked, he pump faked, he knew that the defense was going to go middle, so he was going to go to the outside. And he delivered a great throw, and whether that was less than ideal, and they ended up pulling off the OTW. Like, shout out to them Buffs, man.
Shout out to them there.
You think Shador top 5 pick in this year draft?
It's still left to be said. I still think he has that potential. I think depending on how he performs the rest of the season, he's performing like he should and can be. But again, that has to carry through the rest of the season. And a lot of things have been talked about, you know, Shador, which is amazing. But you can't forget about Travis. Travis is that guy. Travis is him. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? Do y'all think that Travis should be a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick, you know, based off of his performances?
I have a question for that. Do you think Travis is going to go both ways in the NFL? Like he
I would love to see Travis Hunter go both ways in the NFL.
theoretically possible?
I do think it's theoretically possible because of how the game is played now.
Yeah,
what defenders can and can't do, like the taxing aspect on it won't be the same because they're not hitting the guys the same.
True that.
You know what I mean? It's a little different. So I think that Travis Hunter could give it a go in the NFL and see how his body is adjusting to it. But based off of the rules and how they're changing it to keep the offensive players safe, it's also keeping the defensive players safe as well. So he's saving his body on both ends of the ball right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as taxing or as grueling as when primetime plays.
So it's still a win-win for him.
My thing is this. Okay, we know he's a good receiver, but would you sacrifice him on defense? Because I wouldn't.
Why sacrifice?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, I play on both sides.
I was gonna say, why look like a sacrifice? If he works on both sides, then it's a sacrifice. I'm using what I have.
Exactly, and it's like putting him at DB. It's like now you got a better receiver at corner than the actual receiver.
And if you play that position, you inside the mind of your defender.
Exactly.
So
So it's like
I'm with that.
I feel like it's a lot different.
It's possible.
In the NFL. I feel like we taking out about.
Well, they playing.
They're
They're changing 2 safeties over top. You know what I mean? Like him playing underneath
Deion Sanders did it.
I'm saying I feel like they definitely gonna have some
in a harder area.
I think
In a harder area. Man, Travis Hunter has been balling. I mean, I think he could do both. I think he could really transition over to the NFL, and I would love to see that. I think that, you know, it would take some hard work and some dedication for him to be able to do so. But shout out to Colorado and what they've been able to do so far this season. It's been early, but I think that they have seen some early success. And shout out to them boys for them NIL deals, because them boys is getting to that bag. Let me tell you.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you, man.
When you're doing well on the field, it translates to bigger bucks.
To that bag.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? College football has been pretty exciting, though. What y'all think about the college football season so far?
I haven't been watching very much, but you know that boy Will stay sending me Ohio State headlines. That boy stay sending me the headlines, talking about some. Hey, you see what we got? You see the new pieces. He said we can't be stopped. So I'm interested to see how Ohio State plays out in that college football rank, though, for sure.
Hold on, let me pull up these NIL evaluations.
No, the NIL evaluation, I think, Shador is making anywhere between $3 to $5 million on NIL evaluations, and Travis Hunter is making like $2 to $3 million on NIL evaluations. If we want to talk the numbers, because I got the numbers. I knew guys got to look for them. They're around there, right? I think it's like what is it? 3 point?
Shador?
Yeah.
5.1.
5.1 and then 3 point something? 3.2?
Travis is
3.1. 3.1, yep. Yeah, there we go.
Archie Manning, 3.1.
Yep.
Quinn
So them boys,
2.2.
Yeah, them boys is leading the top of the college rankings as far as we talking NIL deals. Them boys get into that money.
Come
man. Go and get to that.
Get into a bag. You hear me? Get into a bag.
And that's amazing to see what college athletics has been able to do for a lot of these young men and women, because when I think about it, when I was in school, man, if I was able to get to that bag, you hear me, I would it would be different. Yeah, it would be a little bit different right now, but that's neither here nor there. We talk about what this generation is able to benefit off of. This generation is able to benefit off of NIL deals, and a lot of guys have you don't got a mic behind the camera, so just keep that over there. But yeah, so I mean, my guy Jay, bro, I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to take a step back. You ain't got no mic, my man.
Or no ground to stand on.
Man, come on. But no, I mean, yeah, the NIL deals have been great for them to be able to get that. And my point in speaking of NIL deals right now is Javon Quinterly. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar, but this might be a little bit past your generation, Gen Z. He's a little bit on the back end of my generation. It's Jelly Fam. He started the Jelly Fam movement, and I don't know if y'all know about Jelly Fam, but JQ, Jelly JQ, was definitely at the forefront of that movement. Was able to push the whole culture forward, go into college basketball and be able to play with a few different teams. I think he made stops at Villanova and made a stop at Alabama. Made a good run in NCAA tournament, and then also Memphis. So he's been around the block, and just recently he's made a post on his IG saying that he was giving up basketball, and he was finally coming to that moment in his life and his career where he was accepting who he was off of the court and no longer chasing that dream. But what made it possible for him to be able to go out and do that was the NIL money that he was making along the way. So big shout out to NIL because now he has a whole career outside of basketball because of what he's able to do on the basketball court and the foundation he was able to bring to the basketball movement. And shout out to Jelly Fam, happy retirement, happy trails.
Happy retirement.
I know a lot of people will look at, guys of our age and like, oh, he shouldn't retire. He should still play. Sometimes it's bigger than basketball for us. Sometimes, we were at that point in our lives where we've come to grips with, the fact that my basketball career was what it was. It gave me what it gave me. It showed me a lot of love with a lot of different people. And can I get the white light and not the orange light on myself over here? But I definitely, want to give a big shout out to him and what he's been able to do for basketball movement, basketball culture, because he was one of the first ones to do so.
Oh, yeah. And it's still, he left a legacy for sure, because, these kids, Jelly Fam, you go to that room, and that's all they know, honestly. I get a little frustrated coaching and teaching because none of these kids know the standard over the top layup anymore. They all want a jelly. So he, Stephen Curry effect for that as well.
He had that real effect, and I really am big on talk about some of the pioneers in our game that have been able to do it, influence the culture, make those waves for us. So I think that goes into what this episode is about is just like entertainment in general and like paying it forward and just thinking about like some of the pioneers in the game to be able to make all these things possible and what we know life as, today. And, one of the big headlines right now is like one of the people that we grew up on in our childhood. And, a lot of people that he was involved with, we didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, but they actually indicted Diddy on, some federal charges. And, it's crazy. It's everywhere. It's all over the headlines. It's all over NBA 2K. People are making their team names Diddy Do It or Diddy, and their courts. They're designing their courts with baby Diddy oil and all these different things. Speaking on that situation, I don't know too much about it, and I just hope for justice. I hope the right thing comes of it. But there's a lot of things that are circulating around it. What are your thoughts right now on it, Ty?
I feel it's absolutely crazy. And I'll go into speaking on kind of the.
You got Rico. Rico case.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See, now that's crazy too. But just the connection that he had to kind of all of kind of my favorite artists, some of my favorite artists growing up, some of them that I listened to in middle school, some of the stories that I used to hear about, the young kids in the parties, 14 years old, 13 years old, at these parties, parents signing away their parental rights, to their kids. And like, that was, I'm not gonna say it was super common back then, but we seen it a little bit in, I think it was like a movie like Straight Outta Compton. I think, foreshadowed it or like kind of showed it a little bit. And there was another movie I was watching, I can't really remember the name right now, but they touched on it where or was it wasn't Hustle, it was a basketball movie where one of the coaches was trying to get the parents to sign away the right, like say, hey, I can make Hustle. It was like Hustle, right? It was like hey, give me the parental rights and I can make decisions on their behalf easy and things like that. And so just how crazy some of those things were that we were hearing that really were going on. They were really happening. It was real life. So it's definitely, crazy to hear. I think that's the craziest thing for me is kind of the connection. I used to watch Making the Band, so, I can only imagine, what was going on. I mean, they joked about it, the Dave Chappelle, they joked about it, go get me my cheesecake, go get me this, go get me that. And, you know what I mean? Was there some truth to it, what I mean, type of thing now. So
much happening in this world that like I'm questioning like what's happening or what's going on. And the big theme of today too as well is just everybody isn't your friend. And noticing and realizing that and being able to see through a lot of the smoke and mirrors and Hollywood and some of these rooms, signing your kids away to people who may not have their best interests, where a lot of the times these people are looking for protection. They were just in the wrong hands and around the wrong people. And if you don't have a strong pillar, or if you don't know who you are, if you're underage and you're not really there yet, I mean, you're going to be susceptible to a lot of different things in these environments. And that's why, first personally, as myself, I'm, grateful and blessed that I didn't, step into those rooms. I was in a lot of those rooms, in those areas, in those homes, in those situations. But then different things were, hey, do you want this? Or, hey, do you want to try this? Or, hey, do you want to go here and do this? And I'm like, I know myself. I'm good. That ain't me. I'm not going to be in those environments. And so whether I knew better or not, I just knew myself and I knew who I was. So I didn't want to be in those environments, didn't want to put myself in those situations. And I feel bad for the people and the victims that didn't able to have that mental fortitude to be able to stand up for themselves and not be able to have their own freedom of choice to be able to do certain things in those environments and under their own, their own free will. And you have to go into these rooms and sometimes you got to sign NDAs and sometimes you're scared, you're fearful for your life, you're not really sure what's going to happen. They have more money than you. They can, bury you powerful with legal fees. They can, make you get fired from your job. They can, harass you any and everywhere. Like they have these big companies and networks and stuff behind them as well. And, it's really hard being in a position of somebody who might not be as privileged or might not have as much money or as power or resources to be able to fight against things like that. But that's why I think like a situation like this is very big because now a lot more is coming out or able to come out because all of the red tape that was around what people were able to do, or the fact that they were hiding footage or taking footage or paying people off not to follow through or file charges. And it's an ongoing cycle of different things. Personally for myself, I've been in situations in rooms where people, because they have money or because they have power, they're doing things that, people necessarily shouldn't get away with. I mean, they're able to lie, they're able to cheat, they're able to steal, they're able to manipulate situations on their behalf. And, like I said, I just want justice. Whatever, the truth is, I hope it comes to light. I hope that people don't have to suppress their own voice anymore. I hope that, like everything comes to the forefront because, it doesn't feel good to be in those situations.
That's a scary business. That's all I know.
Do you think Diddy goes down quiet? Or is he gonna try to take people out?
I mean, I don't know. I think the goon. I mean, I just don't know. I think that he's a very powerful guy, and I think he has some very powerful alliances and associations. So, I just like you said, at the end of the day, I hope it goes down, amicably. And like my biggest fear is just the normalizing of these type of situations and like normalizing like, okay, it's a headline, it's funny, it's this, he's a meme, he's this, he's that, but like these are real life situations and these are real people who were suffering from, you know what I mean, the decisions
from
and
the
choices. So
from the aftermath of that, of dealing with that, and like I know that specifically, like it might not have necessarily happened, but there's tons of conspiracies. There's tons of things that could have happened with Bad Boy Records. You look at Mace, and you look like him stepping away from it and finding God, and you know what I'm saying, more so, you know, him, you know, praising the fact that he was able to get out of that situation in one piece. And then a lot of people who have had mental damage along the way, you know, there's a lot of baggage that comes with going through or being through something like that. And then you come out on the other end and you don't really understand how to navigate life anymore. And I don't want to say that this was necessarily the thing with J-Lo, but another headline with J-Lo has not been able to be married. You know what I mean? Like be a successful, loving marriage or a situation like that. And like, I don't know her personal life, but I can only imagine that something going through something like that would make loving someone hard again, and like not being able to speak on it, not being able to, you know, really be open about it, and people not knowing what you've gone through. That's how do you explain that to your spouse, no matter who they are? You know what I mean? Like no matter how much money they're making, are they making Diddy money or can they touch bro? Like probably not. And that's what the situation was with Cassie. She finally found somebody who had and came from some money, and like she felt secure enough around to be able to tell her truth and tell her story. But you know what I mean, bro has, you know, bro bred it. You know what I mean? It's not like she just dating one of us. You know what I mean? Like it's not like don't get me wrong, like he getting money, but like
he like you said,
Billy?
You said, Diddy money, like
it's different money. So it's like to be able to go head up with stuff like that, or be able to protect your woman.
I was just about to say,
in situations like that, you gotta have the pockets to back that, and a lot of people didn't necessarily have those pockets, but there were tons of people that, you know, kind of are in that category or in that realm when it comes to Diddy, and a few names that have been, you know, circulating at the top of the tabloids right now. Justin Bieber has been around. You know, I spoke on him a little bit earlier. Mace, Biggie, Tupac, you know what I'm saying, Cassie, Young Miami, Mommy, or Young Miami. And then you mentioned them, the Making a Band people. I'm not sure what the situation was. You got to talk about
Danny Kane, Don
Aubrey.
Don and Aubrey. One of them, because there was two of them. Because one of them said, conspiracy on that one. Because one of them said, oh, my relationship with Diddy was whatever, like it was cool because I'm hearing her husband got some business with Diddy. Type thing. But then the rest of them came out. So I'm just like, so only a couple of y'all coming out. I mean, I don't know. Again, we don't know the situation, but I can only imagine it was the whole.
The world is weird. You don't know necessarily what's happening. And, you know, you just got to always watch your back. And, again, I'm not speaking one way or the other on this podcast. I want to let that be known too. Right? At the end of the day,
I just know I don't condone it.
I'm not talking. He's speaking for himself. If you're tired, I can talk about what he do or don't condone. I just hope justice comes, and I hope the truth comes out. That's all I'm saying about it. That's where I'm sticking. There's a lot of names, a lot of people around that situation. I pray for healing. I pray that y'all find the guidance that y'all need and the support that y'all need through this hard time, whether it's on Diddy's family, whether you're a victim, whether you're a person that enjoyed whatever was going on. I'm praying for all that. You know, there's a lot of different names, pictures of Dame Dash, Aaliyah, Jay-Z. All these things are surfacing, and I just hope that people, people stay clear of, these situations moving forward.
What y'all think about them finding 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Man.
I mean, hey man, I don't know. My man was trying to slip and slide. You know what I'm saying? In the house, slip and slide or something. Maybe.
There's a lot of baby oil,
bro.
That's a lot of baby oil.
Pallet.
It's just a
pallet of baby oil, right? Let me put it in perspective for you. It's a pallet of baby oil.
Hey, so there is a conspiracy theory that
he was ashy.
There's a conspiracy theory that Diddy had something to do with Biggie's death.
That's exactly why I mentioned all these names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Again,
that's why I said the rabbit hole goes
exactly.
deep.
This is why I'm just speaking on names right now and moving forward.
Don't come for me.
The world is weird, and I don't know what's going on in this entertainment world. Marriages are not lasting as long as they used to.
No, they're not.
You know, relationships are not lasting as long as they used to.
Different ideas. This is. Oh wow.
All those about
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. But yeah, they aren't lasting as long as they used to.
No.
Marriages and things are
new ideas
every day.
New ideas about marriage. Now.
Yeah, it's a lot of new ideas about marriage, and people aren't staying together.
Not fighting no more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not
Stuff
fighting.
Get a little bit hard, and it's like
stay with each other.
Forget it.
It's really tough nowadays, man, and I just know that now, the hope to be able to find your person. It's fleeting, but I still have hope. I was
gonna say, how's your dating life? Can we ask about that?
Can we ask about my?
How's your dating life?
My dating life is squeaky clean. I do not.
Oh,
have
is it?
one.
Oh, is it? Huh?
Yeah, I'm actually single as a Pringle.
Look, man. Hey. So you're not. Are you seeking? Are you dating? Are you actively dating? Are you seeing people?
I'm single as a Pringle right now. I'm not seeing anyone right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm very much single, and that's something I've been talking to my friends with recently. Like, I'm the only one out of all my friends that really is like that.
Don't
right
be
now.
dating for real.
No, I do be dating. I had times where I've dated, saying stuff like that. But right now, at this current point in time in my life, I'm not dating. I'm not seeing anybody. I'm not going on dates. Like, it's none of that at all. Like, it's very clear. Like, yeah, it's very
crispy
clear.
Clean.
For real, like all my homies right now got a little situation or got a sneaky link or
a sneaky link,
bro.
something.
Like, everybody got something.
Something.
Me personally, bro, I have no ties, nothing right now, and like I just really think about like where I am at right now in my life and my career, and I know that like dating at this age, you have to be very specific, you have to be very intentional, and for the type of energy that I want to bring to my marriage or with my person, like I know I'm not able to give that fully right now in a marriage, and what I feel like society and our expectations and women's expectations of a man in dating in this day and age, like they want you to come ready with the house and like ready to take everything that they have on and really to put your back on that and date them. And personally right now I'm running a business. I'm still finding out new things about myself, exploring my hobbies and my interests, and learning new things and topics on how I want to live my life. How the ideals and values that I want as a man, and I don't want to confuse that, or I don't want to be misguided in what I'm seeking by the influence of another person. And I don't want them to dictate my everyday emotions or where I'm at right now. And I know everything that I have and that I make and that I'm focused on right now goes back into my business. So how willing would a person being able to come into my life and be on my level, would they be to be able to accept that? Right. Who's going to earn as much as me, but also be okay with the fact that the amount that I'm earning is going straight back to my business, and I'm building the foundation of what I'm doing right now. And I can't do a vacation. I can't do, our 5-star dinners every weekend. Like I like to do things like that. I want to be able to do things like that in due time when the time is right. But like that's more of like a quarterly thing. That's not like even though I probably could do it every weekend, and I know if I had a woman in my life, she will want that every other weekend, or she will want that a certain time period, or she want that time and attention, and I just don't have it to give right now. And I've come to that realization and matured enough to understand that like I don't have to force a relationship. I don't have to fake a connection. I don't have to be at the mercy of somebody else. I'm literally know who I am. I know what I want. I know what I'm seeking. I have a business that's running and that's going, that's successful. So I'm focused on that. I'm focused on my own personal growth right now. I'm not focused on trying to merge my life with someone else. Now, if someone comes along the way and they can complement my life in those ways and understand me and understand where I'm at and understand how to add value to my life, I'm completely open and welcome to love. But I feel like so many people are forcing connection. So many people are sticking with people that they are not happy with. And then at the end of the day, when that person doesn't give them the attention or whatever, they're trying to sever those ties. They're not fighting anymore because they don't really care about that person. They're just out there to seek for self. And a lot of people are just doing that for self. So whether you're getting, you know, that sexual itch scratched by that person, or whether you're getting that attention, or they're paying for your bills, or they're buying you things or whatever, like a lot of people want that. They don't want the real connection. They don't want the companionship.
Because as soon as that stuff stops,
it stops. So like, I am not subscribing to that. I don't want to subscribe to that in this day and age of dating. And I'm very strong and adamant on that. And I encourage everybody else, if you are, you know, seeking, you know, or in a tough time or in between dating right now, just focus that on yourself. Focus, you know, especially if you're, you know, in your 20s and 30s or whatnot, like figure out what you want. Figure out what you want in another person, but more importantly, figure out who you want to be and be the best version of yourself. And then along the way, you'll find somebody who's matching that type of energy, somebody who's vibrating at that same frequency. You know, there's no reason that you need to drag somebody through the mud. There's no reason why you need to do harm or hurt people along the way while you're trying to figure out and find out what you need. Leave that person alone, leave that situation alone, and, you know, focus on yourself. Like, that's why a lot of people aren't where they want to be right now. Like, I'm going to keep it a buck. A lot of people aren't where they want to be right now because they are pouring too much time into dead-end relationships. They're pouring too much time into things that are not going to serve their bigger purpose or their greater purpose, and they're distracted. And I'm not a very religious person, but I feel like that's just the devil. I feel like that's just taking you away from whatever it is that you're meant or your purpose is to do. Like, you know what I mean? So many distractions. So all the time you're going to get something put in the way of your ultimate goal. You're going to always have something, you know, that's going to take you off your focus. And that's, again, everybody ain't your friend. That's the theme of today. Like, when I look at all this stuff that's going on in the entertainment world, when I look at all these things that are happening in the world, those are all distractions. People are all getting distracted. People are all falling off of their purpose. You know what I mean? People are getting so much money that they're not giving back to community. They're not giving back to help to the next person. They're getting money so they can do what they're doing. Like, they can go do ignorant things. They can go get these drugs. They can go throw these parties. They can go make people do these things because they have this money and they feel invincible. And like, I just don't want to subscribe for that. I'm tired of that. Like, so I'm very happy where we're going as society, and what, you know, whether or not, you know, Kendrick Lamar is a savior or not, what he's talking about in his music, and the fact that he's able to go get a Super Bowl show. I want to give a big shout out to Kendrick Lamar for doing that, and the things that he's talking about, and the substance of why, you know, the beef was happening and people were picking sides, and all these different things that Kendrick Lamar has been talking about or speaking on is the same type of culture that people have been playing into that's kind of being exposed right now. And I think that we're seeing a shift in what we're going to see in the realness and the influence, and, you know, the people that are going to be put on these pedestals or at the pillar of, you know, entertainment are going to be more so rooted in realness.
What y'all think?
Love that.
His most recent song that he released,
the Black Air Force Energy song.
Air Force Energy song.
I heard it a couple of times.
I heard it, but I didn't hear it. Right, like, I heard it, but I didn't hear it.
Yeah, so. But is it online? Is it like on Apple Music and stuff like that? It's
I don't think
just
so.
On his Instagram. So it's like, I heard it and it is deep, but like, I haven't been able to tap in and like put it on my playlist and listen to it a couple of times. And like, so it was like, because it's only on IG, it was here today, going tomorrow in my eyes. But when I heard it the first time, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He dropped it same day of the VMAs too.
Yeah,
man, he's different, man. And then we can get back to that era. I mean, I remember a time it was J. Cole, Wale, Big Sean. I mean, I'm gonna throw Drake in there because at that time, Marvin's Room was out. You know what I mean? Like, that Drizzy was there, and so like, I can think of a time when, I mean, we'll call it conscious music was circulating, and music that actually meant something, music that helped us get through school, music that helped us figure out how to, you know, navigate certain situations. It was like very helpful, very nurturing. It was therapy in a way. And now listening to a lot of music, and it just
Well, I think about the entertainment space and think about music, you know, nowadays, man, I'm really so caught up on, you know, where I am personally, and I'm on an elevated way of thinking, I don't want to hear that stuff in my car. I don't want to hear that stuff in my playlist. I don't want to be a part of that side.
Conscious
of
like, what your spirit is taking in.
Yeah, I'm very conscious, and I've always been that way. Like, Ty, you know it personally. Like, I've always been a very conscious person, and I'll be honest. I had a moment in my career where, like, people saw me in a different light because of some of the things that I was doing, and it wasn't necessarily the most authentic version of myself. You know what I mean? It wasn't all me, you know what I mean? And so when I think about those situations, I feel like I was true to myself, but whether or not they put out, some of those things on television or not, so people could see the real version of myself is a little different story. But like, now that we're talking about all these different things that are going on in the entertainment space and entertainment world, we also learn and know about these agendas that they're pushing and what they're trying to do and what they want people to consume and what they want to be happening and stuff like that. So like, for my situation specifically, like, that reality TV world, making a band, you know what I mean, things like that, you see, firsthand what they're going through on television, what you believe, but then you understand from them telling the stories on, what they experience, all these other things are going on. Yep. Like, they may have had a producer or a few producers that were a part of a specific, they were just part of a specific community, so they had an agenda that they wanted to push. And that was the same thing for me in my situation. Like, I had a community of producers that came from production and wanted to push a specific narrative. And I know it's easy sometimes, especially when I look like myself. I'm dark skinned, I got muscles, I'm big. They want, they want certain things, in this entertainment space and play this role, or they want to put that out there for the world to understand or see. And, I want to give a big shout out to one of my guys, Brandon Jones, also been a part of some situations like myself. And, from the situation he was in, like, he had a girl that he dated on the show, and then this girl had a narrative, or she belonged to a specific community of her own and wanted to push a specific narrative. And, she started spewing out these hateful things about Brandon, about who he was, and, that weren't true or that weren't accurate or didn't tell the whole story. And so many people ran with that because the network or the TV or whatever, they gave her the platform to be able to talk about these things and do these things. And I dealt with the same thing. Network gave, someone I dated the platform to talk in a certain way or a certain light or whatever. And like,
a story.
Yeah, that's the entertainment world, the tabloids. And, you never really know the true story. That's why, speaking on the situation that I spoke on earlier, I just want to address this. I don't know the truth. I just hope that everybody's able to now speak their truth, because it's been for so long that people are suppressed and they're not able to say how they actually feel or what they actually went through, and myself included. That happened to me. Brandon Jones, that happened to him. He was hosted on Clayton's podcast, and same thing happened to Clayton, where people were saying that he had a baby, or he did this, or he did that, and like, he had to fight it legally. You know what I mean? Like, but all the truth always comes out. And Cat Williams tried to tell us. He tried to warn a lot of people out there. The truth was going to come out, and a lot of people was trying to hide. And when I look at all these different scenarios in the entertainment space and world, I see the bigger picture, because I've been on both sides, and I understand now that it's bigger than us, and all I can do is use my platform and talk to be able to bring more and spread more awareness and enlighten y'all to kind of some of these things that are happening. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be suppressed anymore. I want to be able to talk my talk and talk my truth and be able to deliver it to y'all. So if y'all tuning in, I appreciate y'all tapping in, because you never know what the truth is and what the story is. And, I actually have a personal story I love to double back to, but I don't want to take up too much time here on this segment. Kevin, you had a couple of things you wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Ever since Cat Williams said on Shannon Sharp podcast and said what he said.
What'd he say?
Shit just been hitting the fan.
What'd he say?
He said the truth gonna come out. He said that the truth gonna come out.
Truth always come out.
And the truth has been coming out.
The truth always come out.
Year.
I think we were taught that when we was kids. It was when you first got in trouble and you were old enough to understand. Your parents, I would tell them, my parents stopped beating on you, right? You was old enough to understand, so now they tell you. You know what I mean? You're old enough to know now. You're old enough to get it. So the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
You gonna sit here and you gonna tell the truth, or
Even I forgot which one. I think it was Marlon Wayans that was on Shannon Sharp. He started airing out the entertainment industry as well on how they did him.
we've already known it's been a very, you know, a very strange industry. Strange things have always been going on from as long as we can remember. I think, I mean, I'll speak personally for myself, became oblivious to it, you know what I mean, for a long period of time. I mean, we see certain things, it became a lot more entertainment than anything else. I think personally for me, once I moved out here to California and seen a lot of the places, shows that I was watching were filmed, movies that I was watching were filmed, bumping shoulders and seeing some historic things, it starts to really like, wow, these are real things, real people, real life events. Like, so you start to take a step back and look at things from a different lens, and you start to really be, you know, you start to really understand that, you know, this is a real thing that's happening. These are real people that are being affected by situations and, you know, things going on in life.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said, and that's definitely something I definitely have, you know, realized as I've been living out here and also being on that side of the entertainment industry on both ends, on both sides of it. And yeah, I just learned, you know, like the narratives and what they want to push and the agendas. And like I said earlier, marriages aren't lasting. It's because it was glamorized. Like the glamour is like not healthy stuff. It's toxic culture. It's fights. It's, you know, it's you know, I don't need a man. I don't need this. We don't need each other. When we all do need each other. We need community. We need to do a better job of bringing our communities together. No matter what community you're from, like we need to come together. And that's one thing that I've been, you know, really setting out to do is just, you know, immersing myself in more community, creating more community feel, and, you know, trying to do things with more people and bringing people on to spread a larger message and a bigger message and a broader message about what life is really about, and about more positive things that we can do to be able to shine light on, you know, the positivity in this world. And, you know, we aren't much different than each other, and, you know, I just want to be able to continue to bring community together around that. That's very dear to my heart, and I want that, you know, and I want true love to really prevail in a lot of this world that we're living in. You know, they don't know what true love is, and I just want to pass that forward, you know, as a person, as a vessel, whether that's intimately or whether that's your, you know, companionship or you're my friend or whatever. Like, I want to be able to show genuine, authentic, unconditional love to the people that are around me, and I try to, you know, embody that every single day. And, you know, I've realized that everybody isn't like that. Everybody isn't thinking about the common good. They're not thinking about the next person. They're not, you know, they're not honoring their agreements to the people that are so dear and so close to them. Like, and that's why, like, it's just little things like that. Like, it's just the values or the core values of people now don't stick anymore. Like, people just think that they can get away with, you know, the little things, you know. Now, like you said, your parents would tell you, like, the truth will set you free, and it might have been a small white lie that you told a lie on, you know what I mean? But it was those lessons that you learned along the way to where it's like, no, I shouldn't lie in any case or scenario. If I tell my mom I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I tell my dad I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I tell my kid I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And, like, that's where our generation is hurt. You know what I mean? They're hurt because a lot of people move like that. They deal, you know, we dealt with that. Maybe it was from our parents, or whether it was our peers, or, you know, spouses or whatever. Like, it's so many broken people in this world right now. And that's also why I'm not so caught up on dating, because a lot of people haven't healed. A lot of people aren't willing to do that work. They're not willing to do that internal work, be able to get further. And, you know, like, a few of my friends recently have announced their breakups, and, you know, one of my friends has got a divorce. And I'm gonna tell myself right now, like, me and that friend, boy, back in the day, we used to, used to go together or whatever. But one of the reasons why I didn't want to take things further with her is because I felt like she was too much of an attention seeker and too much looking for external validation from the world. And it was going to be an uphill, never-ending battle for me to show her that love and bring her that love. But, like, that's why we ultimately didn't make it far. Like, you know, she's still cool, you know, still a person that, like, I wish the well and the best. But, like, she got married, you know, started a whole family. And then now is divorced. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to each his own. Everybody
Right.
goes through their own journey in life. Like, yeah, like I know people that have been married and remarried a bunch of different times, but I also do know this about myself too. I know that like if I get married, I would be the type to be unhappily married because I would just be so committed to figuring it out and like working through whatever obstacle or issue we had. Like if I make that if I make that choice, that's where I'm going with it. And like entertainment industry isn't pushing that forward.
No.
They're not, you know, getting people who are more rooted in their core values as a person and as a man. Because right now, what's being a man right now is, I gotta make a bunch of money and be able to provide this lifestyle for a woman.
Man.
But that woman can do whatever she want. That man can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? They don't care how you getting the money. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter where the money came
ain't good
from.
money.
You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of things that like right now where I'm the vantage point I'm looking at things from, like it's just like not important to go out there and be seeking things of a culture or be involved in a culture that's not serving to me or the man I serve.
No, I hear that, and a lot of it just doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, I think about like you said in the entertainment sector. I think of heartstrings, right? I think of Lifetime movies and things like that. For those of us who didn't have examples in the household, that examples of what successful relationships look like, what long relationships look like, what it looks like to fight for your marriage, seeing some family members go through something, for months on end. We seen movies. We had movies that were pulling on heartstrings. We had shows that were pulling on heartstrings that were helping us to feel and cope and go through certain things. Whether we're watching it, on TV or whatever, it helped us visually see it or kind of put us in those situations because we didn't have them in the house. And now the only time I ever get those feelings is from watching Disney movies. I mean, I watch a Pixar movie, Inside Out 2. I watch those type of movies, and those are the ones pulling on my heartstrings. Those are the ones that are making me feel, more attached to life and more, attached to more people and you know what I mean, wanting to be more involved and wanting to pour more into life. You know what I mean? Not so much some of the entertaining movies that I've been watching. They haven't been great.
Yeah, I keep it a buck, this shit ain't real no more.
It's not.
It's not real no more. So it's like when we see things like that really pull on the heartstrings and that is real, like it's good that still exists and we're able to find those gems, able to do that in today's society. But like I had plenty of different things happen where you're just like, wait, what did that just happen? One of my personal stories recently, man, like I went to the Snapchat Summit few weeks back, back in the day, just got a chance to kick it with some of my people and see a lot of the partners. I met a lot of cool people. I actually met Bradley Martin.
Hey,
so shout out to Bradley Martin. Really solid dude, really humble
cool
dude,
guy.
Solid guy. I definitely love chopping up with him. Sarah Safari too. He was with her. So I met, a couple of other people, but those are a couple of people that really stuck out of how down to earth they were and real. Like, oh, what's your Snapchat? Let's follow each other. Let's do this. And like, when you're that big, when you're, doing things on that level and that scale, like sometimes you're out of touch and not relatable to people. And, it felt good to be in that environment and be around, relatable people and everybody from Snapchat, all their brand partners, all their executives, everything. I got to kick it with the CEO. We took a picture. Just different things were happening. Like Sunny Lee was in the building, Olympic gold medalist. Like everybody was in these rooms. Like we were in these communities, and it's like, bro, I'm rubbing shoulders and elbows with all these people, but at the same time, I'm on that level. You know what I mean? But it's great to see. Like they don't know me. They don't know where I come from. They don't know what I do. They just know I'm in the same room as them, and they're just treating everybody the same. I wish I saw more of that. And then the funny story is, like, I'm there, I'm kicking it with the homie. I saw Chris Staples there. Y'all know Chris Staples. We do a lot of content together. Been doing content together for years. And I'm having a conversation with Chris about some conceptual ideas and what we're going to do and how I'm going to roll out some of this content that we've already previously filmed. And somebody came up. I'm not going to say no names. I'm going to keep the tea a little private, but, I'll let y'all read between the lines. But, I'm kicking it with him, and then one of the persons comes up, be like, Chris, be careful who you give your ideas to. They might steal them. Wait, what? Like, you, of all people, you decide to, while I'm speaking with him, you decide that you need to say that. So then, but that person is around us all day, kicking it with us, telling us, screaming our names, telling us not to leave them, and a lot of different things were happening that day, and like at the end of it all, I'm thinking it's a good day. Like despite that comment, you know, I'm just thinking it's a warning that you give give your friend, like, okay, don't give everybody ideas. They might steal it, which is true. But if you know me and Chris, you know, we always do content together. We're always bouncing ideas off of each other. What sound good? What should we do? How should we tweak this idea? I've given Chris a lot of different concepts that he's used on his platform, and I don't even get any credit for it, but that's the nature of how I collaborate with my people. Like it's not mine, it's not yours. We're all bringing it to the room. You make it happen. You make it happen. You know where it came from. You know that I was a part of it. But that's cool. But like at the end of the day, like for a person to come not really know me and say something like that, fast forward to the end of the day, we're all leaving, and this same person is basically her gripe with me, or the reason why they were upset with me was because you know, a few years ago, maybe like 4 years ago or whatever, I'm thinking we cool. You know, I met this person. We follow each other. It's like, it's love every time I see him. And I had a contact at one of these big major shoe brands that I was working with at the time. We were talking about a lot of different things. Things were in the work. This was around COVID or just before COVID. And, you know, I'm talking to this person, and I think they sent me their number via DMs, but then they deactivated their account. Okay. I don't know, you know, they deactivated their account. Maybe it was a week, maybe, you know, some time that passed, and they deactivated their account, so the user was no longer there. And so I reached out to this person because I knew they were a mutual of ours. I'm like, yo, you know what I mean, you know, so-and-so, you know what I mean, I was just talking to them, mind sending me their contact info. And I get it. I'm worried about people giving out my contact info too, so I don't give it out. Like I wouldn't be happy if somebody gave out my contact information without my consent. Checking in, yeah. You know what I mean? But I'm also in that realm or in that world. Like if my homies ask me for contact information, I might give it to the homie and be like, well, just don't say you got it from me. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that's the type of relationship that me and this person have. I was wrong. So that person gets upset with me, and throughout that exchange, I DM'd them on Instagram. They seen it. No response. But I'm thinking like, okay, maybe somebody runs their account. Like, you know, let me double back and hit them on Twitter at the time. And it was Twitter at the time, not X. But hit them up on there and double up. And then they hit me back on Twitter. And they're like, first of all, it's rude not to ask somebody how they doing before you talk to them and this and that. And then second of all, you know, I don't give out people's contact information. And I'm like, oh, well, my fault. I thought we cool. I'm a straight shooter. I'm not a person that's going to beat around the bush. If I got a question to ask you, if I have a question to ask you, I'm going to ask the question. You know what I mean? I wasn't rude in my delivery. Like, I'm very conscious of how I deliver things as well. So it's like I wasn't rude. Like, you need to give it to me. Like, do you mind? Like, you know, this person, like, I was talking to him. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because we're cool. You know what I mean? And then, you know, so through that exchange is why that person unfollowed me, right? That person unfollowed me because they weren't happy that I reached out to them and didn't ask them how they were doing and coddle them. And, you know, it came out that, you know, they were going through a tough time at that point. So they were just like, what they were going through, they put that on me. And, you know, I try to do a good job of, no matter what I'm going through, I'm not going to put that on the next person. You know what I mean? Like, if I have something to say or something's bothering me, I'm going to let it be. But that bothered that person to a big degree, whatever. They unfollowed me. And then moving forward, we're talking and we're leaving the event. And now this person is saying the whole reason why they unfollowed me was because I copied somebody's content idea. Like, and she was like, yo, you copied somebody's content idea 4 years ago, and I didn't like that, and I don't surround myself with people like that. But I know the point, and the pinpoint the time where she unfollowed me was this whole exchange around the contact information. So now she's switching up the tune. Now she's saying this thing, and now I'm seeing where the comments from earlier really came from and stemmed from, and her energy towards me. And like, I'm like, well, we had a good day. I had a great day. I enjoyed the event. Still enjoyed the event. It was still a good time. But like, you got to be careful in this industry and what people think or say. And that person swore on everything. I'm a real person, you know, I'm very transparent, I'm real, I'm authentic or whatever. But that same person would not tell me what video they're referring to, what creator I was copying off of or whatever. But like, that's what entertainment is. You're acting like we're reinventing the wheel. We're not reinventing the wheel. Other things are inspired by so many other things. Everything comes from somewhere. And whether it's a direct correlation from what you see or what you think you saw, or if it's us being in the same room and collaborating on an idea, and I happen to also post that idea. Like I was never allowed to bring clarity to that, but the entertainment world is weird like that, to where you have people who will claim that they're real but won't be transparent enough to even tell you why they're, you know, like they're unfollowing you, they're doing these things or whatever.
They'll judge it and then lock down that judgment.
But again, I knew the whole situation was when she unfollowed me. It was you know, that time
that was going on,
and she even spoke on that. So it's like, for her to change her tune was just weird to me. So y'all just gotta be careful in this entertainment industry. You don't know who's gonna say what's gonna be said about you. But at the end of the day, if you know who you are, you stay true to yourself, and you tell your story, you're going to be good. And that's why I told y'all the theme of today's episode is everybody ain't your friend. And, you know, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's been a blast. I had a lot of fun. If y'all want to see us elaborate on any more of these topics, go ahead and drop a comment below. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I'm at Bionic Brooks on YouTube. You can find T3 or Talk That Talk on all social media platforms, on Instagram, on Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. You can listen in live. Talk That Talk _T3 on Instagram. Make sure y'all shoot us a follow. I'm here with That Fly Guy Ty. And if you see us out in the streets, make sure y'all say what's up. Peace.